let me talk about SR&ED for one more minute so we can compare them. So SR&ED is backwards.
Yeah.
You've already spent the money, and it's specifically for an R&D project and new technology development. Okay, that's what SR&ED is for. The other thing I haven't mentioned yet, Sarah, which is very important, is you don't have to be profitable. You don't have to have any revenues.
Yeah.
Your project doesn't even have to be successful. The only thing that matters is, are you spending money trying to develop new technology? The rest of it doesn't matter. If you're spending money on new technology development, then you have a claim. So that's very important to know. Grants is different. Oh, and one other thing I've already mentioned is SR&ED as an entitlement. If you're doing the work as per the program, then you get the money. Grants is different. Grants is not an entitlement. Grants is a competition against everybody else out there, okay? So it's not an established program where everybody gets money. It's a selective program where either the federal government or the provincial government, they come up with a program, and it's a program where they want to incent some type of activity in their province or in Canada. Activity that's going to be good for Canada or good for the province, as I explained earlier. The grants are not backwards looking. If you've already spent money, you can't get any grant money. You have to put an application in and get pre-approved and then spend the money. So we help our customers put together those applications because they can be very, very involved. So we basically come up with a budget for your project. What are you going to spend on it? When are you going to spend it? It can be over 2, 3, 4, 5 years. How much money? It can be a $200,000 project, or it can be a $10 million project. There's a lot of different grants for different sizes, depending on what you're doing. So we put together those applications, and then we get them ready to submit, and then you just push a button and submit them. Of course, you review it, the application, and then you see if you get approved. Other companies will be applying as well, so they pick the ones they want to. And they don't even tell you usually, if you're not approved, they don't even usually tell you why. They just say you weren't approved. But if you are approved, then you can get a nice check. And I'll give you an example. If you're a manufacturer and you're manufacturing anything and you decide, I want to scale up my business because my demand, I can't supply it. I need to add more equipment. And the equipment is very expensive. It's going to cost me $2 million. So we may be able to find you a manufacturing expansion grant where you may be able to get up to half of that back, 50%, to support your project. Because a lot of times the provincial and federal governments are trying to create manufacturing jobs in Canada. So that's an example of manufacturing grants, but there are other grants. And I could put the grants in maybe 5 different categories. One is manufacturing expansion and scalability. So I've talked about that a little bit. That can be anywhere from 20% of your expenditures up to sometimes 75% of your expenditures that they'll support you on. Most of the time, it's non-repayable. Sometimes they'll mix it, non-repayable, and some of it is a loan. So it depends on the program. Every program is a little bit different. So that's manufacturing. Then there's export marketing grants. So if you're trying to sell products outside of Canada into new markets, there's a program that'll support up to $100,000 of expenditures, and they'll give you 50% of that back to support your marketing activity at business shows in other countries. So that's a very popular program, and we do a lot of those claims, a lot of those applications. Another one is hiring. So if you're hiring people, particularly if you're hiring multiple people, there's provincial and federal programs to help support that because they want people working and paying taxes and contributing to the economy, and they want your business to grow. So they incent that behavior. These grants come and go. Usually they can be anywhere from $5,000 per employee up to $25,000 or $30,000 per employee. The employees they like to be hired the most, we call them STEM graduates. So science, technology, engineering, and math graduates. Typically anywhere from 18 to 30 years old. Those types of people, quite often, almost every year, there's hiring grants available for those people. So you can put in for support. And if you're going to hire people anyway, why not try and get some of it paid for? If they say no, it doesn't matter. You're going to hire them anyway. If they say yes, then you get some support. And if we do the application and you get no money, you don't owe us any money. So the next group of money is R&D. So there's R&D grants as well. It's not the SHRED program. It's not an entitlement. It's a competition. But they may say, you know what, we really want to incent R&D development in this one area of development, in this one sector, in this one industry. It's very important to us. So it could be electric vehicles, it could be fuel cells, it could be batteries, it could be anything they decide. We really want to incent that. So they'll put out a grant program for R&D activity. So then you apply for a grant. The nice part about that is we can apply for the grant. If you don't get the grant, but you're doing R&D activity, then we'll do a SHRED claim. So a lot of times we'll do one or the other. So that's R&D. The final one is green initiatives. So if you have a business and you're going to take your building and put solar panels on it, or you're going to fix all the lighting in your business and reduce your electricity consumption or reduce your carbon footprint somehow, maybe you're going to put in fuel cells to provide, or solar panels to provide, then quite often there'll be grants for that type of activity to incent that sector of the economy. The other thing I should mention is that if you are a woman-owned business or a Indigenous-owned business or a visible minority business owner, then you do get some extra points for that because they want to help out those minority groups. So that's in a nutshell the grant program. It's very hard to be very specific about each grant because they load them up with money. They might put $50 million in a grant program and then they announce it. Then you have to know that they announce it because you should apply right away before they give all their money out. So you try and get your application in as soon as possible. So part of our service is we usually know when the grants are announced. So we try and get your application in early so you'll have a better chance of getting approved. Once they run out of money, they just close the program. And lots of times we'll tell some of our prospects, we should put in an application for this program, and then they don't do it right away. They don't support us to do it right away, and then they miss the program. They come back to us later and say, oh, we want to apply for it now. Sorry, the program's closed. They gave all their money out. So timing is very important, and it's very important to make sure that you are covering all of the questions that are in the application.